There are some numbers in history that have just sparked so much debate, so many wild theories, and this is one of them. It shows up in one of the Bible's most mysterious books, and you wouldn't believe how many groups have claimed it for themselves. So what is the secret of the 144,000? Let's dive in and find out. 144,000. Just look at it. It's so specific, so precise. It's not a round number, right? It feels like it has to mean something really concrete. But what? For centuries, people have been trying to crack this very code. And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Who exactly are these 144,000 people mentioned in the book of Revelation? Well, the answer you get really depends on who you ask. Some people will tell you it's a literal head count. That's the exact number of people who will be saved, period. Others say, no, it's just a symbol for the entire church. Then you have theories about them being this special squad of end-times evangelists. Or, you've probably heard this one, that they're members of a specific modern-day religion. It's a total theological puzzle. But what if I told you we've been trying to solve it with all the wrong keys? To really solve this ancient puzzle, we have to do something crucial. We have to stop looking at it with our 21st century eyes. The secret isn't buried in some modern theory. It's all about unlocking the original code. You see, Revelation wasn't written as a secret message for us. It was a powerful, urgent message for them, the first century audience, using a symbolic language that they would have totally understood. And this quote right here, it just nails it. We get so hung up asking, what does it mean, that we completely forget to ask the more important question, how was it meant to be understood back then? The author John was communicating something very specific, using a shared library of symbols. We just need to learn the language. And that language belongs to a special genre called apocalyptic literature. Now, this isn't a history textbook or a simple letter. Oh no, it's a visionary, symbolic type of writing designed to pull back the curtain and show you what's really going on. It has its own grammar, its own rules, so let's use those rules and investigate this thing properly. All right, detective, our first stop is the scene of the crime itself, Revelation chapter 7. This is where we first meet the 144,000, and the text gives us some very, very specific clues about who they are. So, right off the bat, the text is pretty explicit. We're told the number, 144,000. We're told where they're from, every tribe of the sons of Israel. And it even breaks it down, 12,000 from each of 12 tribes. And the seal they get? It's not a get-out-of-jail-free card. It's a mark of divine protection to get them through the coming judgment. Seems straightforward, right? A specific group of Israelites. Well, this is where it gets really interesting. Because someone deeply familiar with the Old Testament, someone who really knows their stuff, would read this list of tribes and immediately their eyebrows would go up. They'd know something is off. John isn't just copy and pasting from an old census record here. Okay, check this out. Look closely at this list. The tribe of Dan is completely gone, a tribe that in later Jewish tradition gets a bad rap for idolatry. Ephraim, another huge tribe, is also missing. But then Joseph is listed right alongside his own son Manasseh, which is really unusual. This is a massive clue. It tells us this list isn't about your family tree or your DNA. It's a spiritually filtered list emphasizing loyalty to God over your bloodline. And the plot thickens. Because the clues don't stop there. Right after introducing the 144,000, the author shows us a second, completely different group of people. This contrast is totally intentional, and it's our next big clue. The author uses this really cool literary device. First, he hears the number of the sealed. That's the 144,000. Then he turns, and he sees something totally different. This whole hearing and seeing thing is a giant flashing sign in the text, telling us to pay super close attention to how these two visions relate to each other. And when you put them side by side, wow, the contrast is just stunning. The first group is a specific counted number from Israel on earth being sealed for protection. The second group, it's a countless multitude from every single nation already in heaven singing praises. The point isn't that they're the same group. It's that they're two sides of the same incredible coin. You have the faithful remnant from Israel, and then you have the massive global harvest of people that follows. Okay, now we have to talk about the most controversial clue of them all. Later, in chapter 14, the 144,000 show up again, but this time with a description that has been radically, and I mean radically, misunderstood for centuries. And there it is. Reading that just on the surface, you can see how it creates all sorts of problems.
It kind of sounds like it's saying celibacy is better than marriage, or that only a very select group of men can be part of this special company.
I mean, that's the natural question, right? If you take this literally, you're forced to ask, is this saying marriage is sinful? That only celibate men can be in this group? And frankly, that's led to some really strange and unbiblical ideas. But remember our rule. We have to use the right key. We have to read this in its apocalyptic context.
And the answer, according to a contextual reading, is a big, fat N-O. This passage is not a commentary on marriage or sexuality. Not at all. To get it, you have to understand the metaphorical language of the Old Testament prophets.
This right here is the decoder ring. Throughout the Old Testament, being faithful to God is talked about like being faithful in a marriage. So guess what worshiping false gods, idolatry, is called? It's called adultery, or spiritual prostitution, over and over again. So when Revelation calls the 144,000 virgins, it's a powerful metaphor. It means they've kept themselves spiritually pure. They haven't cheated on God by bowing down to the idols of their culture. It's all about loyalty.
And there's one more symbolic piece. They're also called the first fruits. Now, in ancient farming, the first fruits weren't the only fruits of the harvest. They were the promise, the guarantee that the rest of the massive harvest was on its way. This just reinforces the idea that the 144,000 are a representative group, the pledge of a much, much bigger redemption.
Okay, so let's take a step back and put all these pieces together. We've looked at the clues, we've used our apocalyptic key, and now a much clearer picture is starting to emerge. So putting it all together, the 144,000 are not a literal head count. They are a powerful symbol. The number itself, 12 tribes, times 12 apostles, times 1,000 for magnitude, it signifies the complete, faithful remnant of God's people from Israel. Their identity isn't about DNA, it's about their unwavering loyalty to God. They stand as this incredible testament that God protects his people, even right in the middle of chaos.
At the end of the day, the story of the 144,000 isn't really about a mysterious number or some exclusive club. As our source material concludes, it's really a story about the character of God, a God who makes promises and keeps them, who preserves his people, and who fulfills his plan for both Israel and the nations.
It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? By learning to read an ancient text on its own terms, a confusing and controversial puzzle suddenly becomes this coherent and powerful message. What else might we be missing, simply because we haven't yet learned the language of their world?